Well, howdy there, my YouTube friends. Welcome to the Locksmith Tips channel. Hey, how you doing? This is Bob with Locksmith Tips. Video you're getting ready to see, it's kind of a long-winded. You can fast forward anytime you want or whatever. Just hit play, let it play like an ASMR, you know, some kind of sound stuff in the background. Kind of hang out and listen to me mumble, you know, banging on tools and stuff. But anyways, this is about my locksmith vehicle. And, you know, value van. And this is what we got here. But anyways, I digress. It's not really locksmith related, other than, you know, everyone that does locksmithing drives a vehicle. Well, most people I know that do locksmith drive a vehicle. The last time I drove this on a lock job, I started feeling a weird noise. I could feel it in the steering wheel. Thought maybe my ball joints was going out, and maybe those do need to be replaced eventually. But it turned out to be the wheel bearing. I jacked it up and shook the wheels and kind of to get a feel of what kind of bearing play there was in there, and there was quite a bit on the passenger side. So I went ahead and did both of them. I did the one side, and then I thought, well, I didn't know what I was going to run into when I got into it, so I thought, well, I didn't film it, and then after I did it, it was pretty easy. So I went ahead and did the driver's side. But I also wanted to make sure I had the right bearings, you know. So when I did the passenger side, I verified everything I bought was correct. And I bought everything from Mill Supply. If you're, you know, locksmith vehicle is like a Stepvan box truck type of thing. Mill Supply carries about everything for it. And I'm not promoting them, but they are a great outfit. And so also in the video, I did the driver's side. And my GoPro goes out at one point, and you'll notice the difference in the quality of the video. This isn't a training video. This is just simply a hangout while I work on my wheel bearings kind of thing. I do kind of talk about some things I know about through experience with working on this type of stuff. When I was in the Army, I was a 63 Whiskey's, a vehicle repair. I did the 5 tons, the deuce and a halves, the Hemmets, the Humvees. I worked on anything that had wheels. And that was one of my main jobs. And then as we started getting more people in that job and they had too many people, I started getting into the building maintenance. But anyways, my main training in my Army school is vehicles, you know, big vehicles. But with that said, this is just like a little intro to the video you're getting ready to see. Fast forward it if it bores you, I'm sorry. And I come across a couple instances where I needed a different tool, and I made it work with what I had, but I did go back later with the correct tools and finish the job. And my driver side, the rotor need to be machined, but when I talk to the service people, they say it wasn't that bad. There's just one groove, you know, and however deep it was, there's enough surface material for the brake to ride on that they didn't worry about it. And it's like $300-400 for these rotors for this big vehicle, so I wasn't needing to spend it. That's what they all recommend. Just drive it, put in new brake shoes, which I did, you know, brake pads. So I did do brake pads afterwards, and I'll show you the finished product. As of filming this right now, everything's already done. So this is just what you're getting ready to see. And my GoPro went out, and I had to switch over to my body cam, and the quality is different. You know, there was a neighbor that was up the street making all kinds of racket with a saw, and then I had a dog fight that happened in the park next to our house. So, you know, there's background stuff, so I couldn't really edit or filter that stuff out. But, you know, if you want to see anything else, I got a squirrel right there. If you want to see anything else, just let me know what you want to see in the comments. And yeah, I mean, I've been training this stuff, but I'm not a professional mechanic by any means. I'm a DIY shade tree mechanic with some experience, and I spend money on some good tools that I know how to get the job done. But I take shortcuts here and there. But you know, and I try to point out stuff, you know, in the video. I use jack stands, always use stuff that's rated for the vehicles you're working on. And I'm saying this as not being a mechanic, but as a locksmith that tries to save money and want to use, you know, I don't mind working on some things. I don't work on much of the engines on newer vehicles, but this old thing, I rebuilt that myself. So, and I swapped out the straight sticks and the 350 multiple times anyways. And the transmission, I did all that stuff myself. I didn't have any shop, anyone else to help me. So it's like, there are some things I'm willing to do, but this is 74, so there's not a whole lot of electronic stuff to deal with this kind of stuff. It's all mechanical. Torque specs, tolerances, and you know, knowing having a good manual for this stuff. I have an old repair manual, so that kind of helps. But anyways, I just hope you enjoy the video, and I'm sorry this isn't more lock related, but it's just kind of what I had to put up. I got a whole bunch of videos. That's why my GoPro went out, actually, is I got too much stuff on the GoPro that I need to go through, and I have all kinds of videos. I just, it's hard to edit that stuff, you know, and the lighting sucks, and sometimes I just go back and I throw it all away and start over because I don't like the quality of it. And I also want to mention I'm getting into 3D printing, mostly for locksmith stuff. I'm still learning the software is where it's complicated. There's a million things locksmith, locksport related that you can print off. I don't really like copying other people's stuff, and I know, you know, it's easy money, but you're also using, so, you know, 3D printers are a lot like welding and machining. There are consumables, there's wear and tear items, and so for me, it's kind of like my vehicle. I do my own stuff to save money, but there's a time and a place where if it takes too much of my time, it's worth paying someone else to do it. But 3D printing is the same thing. If I could buy something for 10 bucks, you know, I might do that as opposed to trying to redesign, re-engineer it. But I don't mind, you know, I'll download and print some stuff off, Locksport related, because it's open source, people don't mind. But I don't want to try to sell other people's stuff. But I am coming up with my own designs. I got all kinds of cool locksmith and locksport related stuff that I plan on doing down the road. But for now, I got the cart before the horse. I started printing stuff, and I think I need to learn the design software. So that's where I'm at with that. And at the end of the video that you're getting ready to see, I will show you the final result on the Stepvan as far as what it looks like. So all right, talk to you soon. Enjoy the video. Thank you for watching. And take this wheel off, swap out some wheel bearings. So I'm going to go ahead and jack her up real quick. How about the lug nut's already loose? So we should be good on that front. Just make sure my microphone's out of the way here. Oh. Okay. I got one jack under the frame along with my lift. I'll put another jack underneath the wheel A-arm as soon as I get this wheel off. Trying to find the right socket. This is a bigger vehicle. So what I did was I got this piece here. Hopefully I don't have any interruptions. Neighbors want to talk. Alright, so there's the nose. Get that out of the way. Okay. Good enough. Get that dust cap off. So these bearings feel good. The other ones that were bad. So this has an old style brake where it's wedged in there. There's an Allen wrench that holds it. Let's see if I can grab a picture. So I'm going to pull this Allen head off. This whole wedge comes sliding out, and then the whole brake comes loose. So that's what we're doing real quick. I can't get you in there. The shot itself, it's kind of complicated to maneuver. Okay. This is kind of cumbersome. Did the other side. They were bad. It was like all kinds of slop in it. This side here feels fine, but I'm gonna go ahead and do them both just because I know saw they're done. Alright, so I'm using a block here to knock this forward. That's coming. Alright. Okay. That was that wedge piece where you seen the spring holds it tight. And we drove that out after I got that bolt out. So we put our parts in a safe place. Okay. So with that loose, the whole brake should pop out. Finagle around a little bit. Anyways, let me get a rep mallet here. What happens is you get a bunch of stuff in a groove up here, so it won't let it go up very high. There we go. I didn't have to compress the disc on the other side. The brake shoe, I may have to on this. I don't know if I will. Get this off. Bunch of gunk in that groove up here. Starting to compress the parts above it. Let me grab a pry bar here. Almost there. There it goes. There we go. Have you go knock that off. And it's probably pretty tight. Find my channel locks, there they are. Trying to get it bent in a little. When I get it off, I'll show you what it is. Let's see what's around here. Unfortunately, sometimes you gotta deform them a little bit. They don't come off too easy sometimes. The other side, I fought it all the way. I mean, I'd still be fighting this. Sometimes you gotta get it and a little hit like that. And when it hits on this, it helps pull it. Yep, just like that. Taking off. Okay, so I'm one thread in. Thread in. I usually count them. So there's one thread left open on there. That's what I'm looking at. So, and that washer's got a groove in it that goes into this key right here. So let me go and put, that's the holes there, and there's one up here, 180. So we'll get that off real quick. Use these side cutters. Ah, I got a straight powder pin out. What I do is I just kind of inch along and do that. Just keep inching it along. Unfortunately, let me see how much battery I got on this. Okay, should have enough. So, got the key out. It's right here. We'll let's see what we can do to get it back off camera here. Sorry, mess. There's really not a whole lot. You can see that's the wedge. I had to squeeze the caliper in. I kind of moved it out of the way. I don't know if you can see very good in there. Just slid right out. Anyways, I just got dang on there. So we're gonna go ahead and keep moving on this. So thread in. What I'm going to do is mark this castle nut so I know exactly where I'm at on it. So that's at the 12 o'clock position. Thread in. I'm just making sure that when I put it back it's not looser or tighter. There's supposed to be a little bit of a preload on here, but my other one just about fell off because of too much slop in it. There shouldn't be any. This one felt fine. I raised up the vehicle, shook the wheel. You can kind of tell if it's good or bad. If there's any play in it, it shouldn't have any play. On this vehicle, you shouldn't have any play. There might be some out there you do. It's a 1974 GMC P3500, also known as a value van. So there's no point in separating this. I see some people do that. There's no reason to do that. Okay. This mess. Put that in the cap. Okay, so ooh, that bearing was bad. Ooh. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. There's quite a bit of movement in that. I don't know if you can see that. They do move a little bit, but that's moving quite a bit. Anyways, so let me get this out, and then I got the inner bearing I got to get out. So let me set that right there. These races got to come out, and so does the oil grease lip seal. Alright, so we'll knock that bearing race out here in a second. Let's see, here's the other thing I noticed. This is pushed out. That should be flush. So right there it tells you it's not right. Looks to me like they even got the oil seal backwards. I believe it should go the other way. Guess I'm going to find out. We'll take it off. We'll take a look. I don't know. Yeah, I think someone did this wrong. And so it's probably been worked on before, not the factory. We'll find out when I pull it off. Let me see if I can knock that other one off. Better to use a punch or something like this. Until it's solid. Okay. There's the first race. It's out. So I have to knock this other one out. What I will do, I'm just going to go for it. Just knock it all out. And then take the oil seal with it. Okay. Here's my problems holding on to this. This is actually going along quicker than I planned. Okay. Get them out. Race is still in there. That's that oil. I had it on the right way. It just looked like a double seal. Ugh, that grease is bad. Soapy. Which is probably my deal for this kind of situation anyways. The bearing itself, the bearing race, still kind of in there. I'm going to see if I can grab a lip on it. Yeah, it's moving. There we go. Okay. Inner and outer bearings and race completely removed. So now all I got to do is clean her up, drive the new ones in, and we're good to go. Let me turn this camera off while I clean everything up. Alright, I'm going to do this on here camera. We'll see how it turns out. Last time I did this, it didn't turn out too good. This is a bearing greaser, and it's not a review or anything, but it's kind of, I thought, well, I'll give this a try because I've never tried one of these. And so let me see here. I think the conical piece goes right there up towards the piece. Anyways, it was a horrible experience last time, and I'm just convinced I got to keep trying. So we'll see how this goes. So you just trap it between there. Make sure I don't have any bad grease in here. Horrible deal. Maybe I'll get lucky on this one. I've changed my greaser on my gun. I got a different style, a professional grade. I'll show you in a second. Professional grease coupler is what it is. Anyways, I don't know if it's coming through very good. I was pissed. It's like you just squirt grease all over the place. Not where I want it in the bearing, you know. We're going to try it this way. See if this is the magic I needed. So it's supposed to be okay. So it's going in. Good. It was just like spewing out all over the place. So I thought, well, I'm going to try this different grease gun piece. And you pump it until you got grease coming through the needle bearings, oil bearings. And I should be seeing something. I see it coming through. And maybe you want to spin it a few times. So I don't know if you can see it's coming through right there. Right side here. I don't know how much light I have. So see if I can spin it just a little bit. Okay, so that was successful in my mind. And let's get this apart. And you want to make sure the beans are clean. I know these are heavy duty bearings. It's not like going on a Porsche or something, but you don't want to contaminate your grease any more than necessary, which is not necessary. Alright, so spin that off. I went through like a half a tub of grease. It was just horrible. I was pissed. Alright, so that was better. So that must have been my problem all along, was needing a different professional grade coupler. So then you just kind of feed it in until you get to all the needle bearings. Sometimes you got to roll it around. You want to get all the air out. I've seen people like pack their bearings, the whole bearing enclosure, the wheel, full of grease. And you don't really want to do that. You want grease in there, especially on the bearing, but you don't want to pack it so full that it can't dissipate heat, because the grease will hold heat. I've seen where bearings got greased and they could start overheating. Get that booger off there. Dirt booger. Alright, so that is good. I can see bearings good on that one. Can't get it okay, but yeah, it feels like it got it all the way through it. So now I'm going to pump more grease into that when I get to it. So let me set this in a safe place. Now I know that works. I'm going to set it. I need to find a better spot. Right there. And I'll do this other one real quick. Alright, well, I'm happy that worked that time. So, paper towels going everywhere. So we'll get this one pumped. The small one, hopefully. Doesn't take too long. Kind of centered. Not that really matters. Okay, get this off. This is just a dirty job, no matter how you do it. So. Make sure. All right, that feels way better. Just fill the whole cavity up in case the grease coming out. Alright. Okay. Oh, shit. Alright, so that went through. And you still got to kind of massage it into the bearings. Alright, well, I'm relieved that worked. Because the first time I did it, it didn't. It's a messy job. Someone's got to do it. Anyways, get this grease packed in here. They have other types of greasers. I looked at them and it's like, you read reviews, it's hard to tell what's good, what's not. I've always done it by hand, and usually you just kind of squeeze it under the ring, just put a little water in your hand and just keep squeezing through until you see it come to the bearings. It probably saved a little bit of time. I think this way here is more accurate though. Hope you're all doing good today. There's nothing going on with me here. I've been printing on the new 3D printer a bunch of stuff, but it's kind of a, I gotta learn the design software because I hate to print other people's ideas. Some of it of course makes sense, but some of it's like, come on man, I gotta be original. I'm with my own stuff. So that's kind of where I'm at with the 3D printer. As soon as I get my bearings straight, no pun intended, but actually it does work out for this pun. Alright, so this looks like it's pushed in pretty good. I hate that wind. I should have covered these up. Alright, well I'm going to put that right there. Put that right there on top. Clean side down on the bearing. Right there to hold it. That's why one thing you hate about doing bearings. Alright, so now when you drive the bearing races in, I thought I'd do the bearings first because reason because one of the bearings you got to drive in everything together. That's the inner one. You got to drive in the. Let me set that down so I'm not going all over the place. The one bearing, which is the inner towards the vehicle, is got that oil or the lip seal on it. I say oil seal, it's a lip seal. And so you got to do the race and then the bearing, and then you got to do that oil seal, lip seal on it. Alright, so I had to wipe my nose so you didn't have to see that. Okay. Alright, here we go. I'm back, I think. So we're going to drive these races in. And I don't really need to put that on wood. I'm doing it for the heck of it. So the bearing races, they just go right inside here. I don't really need to. I don't know if there's a way to get a bird's eye view of what I'm getting ready to do. I'm trying to see if my camera's actually coming through okay. Alright, so bearing race. This is the lip seal. This is the outer race. And I usually do just a little bit of anti-seize on the race itself. Just kind of keep some gall and season, whatever, help it slide in a little bit better. I haven't ever found that it actually ruined the press fit of it. Or some people might say it does, but not in my experience. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a piece here that is just about that size. This is going to go all the way down in there. So just about that size. Even a little smaller. There you go. That's too small. This would be the number 11 die, and we will drive that in this way. And so this is one of those touchy ones. I'm going to drive it in. I've got a driver on top of it to protect it, but you still need to make sure it's straight. So I'm trying to get a side started, and then you just drive it in until it flush. Make sure my driver doesn't get stuck in there. And it should change pitch once you get it in there. Should. Take a look here. I think I'm in. Just make sure. Alright, so I drove in pretty good. Just drive that in. Make sure you got a clean paper towel. Wipe it down real good. it's like I clean multiple times, trying to make sure I don't get anything in there to contaminate. Alright, so that looks good. So we're going to go ahead and, oh, I think I hit the button. Okay, so that bearing race is in. Let's do this other one here. Okay. Clean, clean, clean. For what I'm doing, I should have could have power washed the whole thing, but I didn't feel like it. I don't want any water in my grease chamber. And a little spider. I'm sorry, buddy. Let me see this spider real quick. Get on there, buddy. You don't want to be on here. Get rid of the spider real quick. I always save them. Get him? I don't know. He ain't gonna be happy here in a minute, so. Alright, so the other bearing race right here. A little bit of this nickel antices down there. I'm gonna put it on the top and bottom race because the top race is for the oil spill. Alright. Alrighty. This one here, use that. And you just want the right size. And we'll drag it down. Crooked. Once it starts going, it seeps in. Okay, come in. Got more solid when you hit it. Alright, here's the part where you need to really make sure it's clean because you're gonna put a bunch of grease in here. Put your bearings on this side in and then your lip seal. So here's my bearing. I'm going to go ahead and set it right there. Time for this. Okay. You do need this in pretty straight. Okay. Now, this wasn't flush when I took it off. This was sticking up about 1/4 inch. Same thing on the other side. That's supposed to sit in this groove right here. So we're gonna have to make sure we get this on right. Alright, so that part's good. We don't need to worry about the other one. It's in. I just need to clean this up right here. That's kind of what I thought last time. I think it got so loose it just kind of wore itself out. It started slopping around. I didn't feel like I had any play in this. Doesn't mean it didn't, but just gotta pay attention to details on a lot of these things. I'm not a professional mechanic, but I did train in the military on vehicles. My main job was a 63 Whiskey 10, and it's like I like working on vehicles, just other people's. I want to work on my own. But this was a job I didn't feel like paying somebody for either. Alright, so that's clean. I'm going to put some grease on there. And wearing greasy gloves, so you just got to constantly wipe that grit. Okay. Alright, so here's the fun part. I gotta slip that on there. Almost need a jack for this size wheel. Okay. See what I just did here. So, it's a critical part here. Make sure that lip's seated on there. I may have to torque it down a little bit. Up right up there. Okay. It's like bowling over here, these fucking cans. Alright. Pump some grease in here. Okay, let's get the bearing. Yeah, there's never a comfortable spot over here. Okay, what I may need to do is put the nut on, tighten it down just a little bit until it can draw it in. Then I'll take it off, put the washer back on. Alright. So I'm just doing this to pull that bearing in there. So I can back it off now. Put that washer on. I'm trying to remember to clean stuff as I go. because I'm adding foreign material to it. You don't want to do that. You put your key on. The way it's supposed to go. There. Hope there's enough thread to keep it going. Oh, we're good. Okay, we'll grab a wrench. I forgot to grab it. Grab that. There. Yep. 1 1/4. And we had a thread showing. So, and it's got to kind of press the bearings together. I should have got the socket for this. Ways go. My lip says fighting me, I'm sure. Should have brought the socket. Be on this a little bit. Get a little leverage on it. Yeah, next time I need to get that socket. You get in here. Cut some of this out if I have to. Don't bore you. Yeah, those bearings are dry, weren't they? I mean, they were juicy. It's kind of not as much grease in there as I thought there would be. We're down to almost 1 thread. Yeah, definitely needed a socket. Oh, let me see if it's right size. Let me see what size I got here. 1/16. No. I'm gonna look at it. It's 1/16. Maybe 1 1/4. Get in there. I feel like I need to go get an actual socket. Let me see if I can see where my mark is. I had a hash mark on there earlier. Let's see if I can find it. Nasty. Tell it on there. I think I see it. Yeah, I think I'm almost there. One thread and see if I can pop it back a little bit. To be honest with you, I feel like I need to go buy a socket. Maybe I'll go do that. I'm just gonna go buy a socket. I don't want to fool around this thing. Smooth. Definitely what you want. I can just go on ahead and let me go look real quick. See, I got an inch and a quarter. I'll cut those out if I have to. Could have swore I had that socket. Keep them moving anyways. The only problem. I gotta get that in. Let me punch this over. Move a little bit. Probably all I want to do right there. What I will do is I will drive it for a minute, give me a socket, and then tighten it back up whenever I feel like it's kind of broke in a little bit. Find where that power pin goes in it. Alright. Alright. I gotta pull all the way through. Alright. Bend one way, the other the other way. There we go. That's where we're at. I'm going to fill that cap up with some grease, put in here. Nice and smooth. Okay. Alright, so some grease in here. And then what we got left is put the brake rotor back on, put it back together. I'm gonna have to go ahead and check these after I put some miles on it. brakes. Don't worry about right here. Well, let me get this brake caliper on. This is gonna be fun. Okay. Alright. That's good. I need new brakes. We're in. So I dropped it in. I need that wedge piece. I need to drive it in that way. I had stuff in there earlier. That's why it wouldn't come off very easy. Yeah, my brake shoe's bad. Obviously, I need a new rotor too. So I'll go on ahead and let me find that other piece here. And so here I'm gonna lube it up. I'll put a lube in there. I need to worry about getting on the brake shoe on this part. It locks into the screw. You just want to slide in pretty easy. So what I may do is just a little anti-seize. You normally wouldn't use any anti-seize on your brakes, but this is a spot where it'd be okay. Once you get it started, just hammer it in. I'm going to use block wood on this. Over there, on the screw right here. Yep, that should do it. Once I get that in, I'm done. Put the wheel back on. You know what? I'm going to leave the wheel off because I think I'm going to paint it. That's the only gray wheel I have on here. Hope my neighbors appreciate that. Talking about here. Sorry. There's that wedge piece we just did. Just run the Allen wrench all the way. Until it's in. And that's it. Okay. It's good to go. Yeah, I definitely need a new shoe for that. I'm gonna spray some paint on this wheel. Hope I didn't bore you all too much. It's not my usual stuff. It's Locksmith videos. I have another channel where I work on the Stepvan, and I just there's no point in having two channels with different subscribers here and there. So I'm putting everything on my Locksmith channel, Locksmith tips. So. This isn't locksmith related. I'll put it in a different playlist. So anyways, thanks for watching. My GoPro went dead on me. Well, it didn't go dead. It ran out of room on the card. And I don't think it just really took that long. I gotta get a new brake shoe, and when I do that, I'm gonna get a socket. My other stuff is fine. And these brakes here, just the outer one here is worn in. So anyways, I'm gonna go on ahead and get that in a 1 1/4 socket. And then I'll do the preload on the bearing, but it's good for now. It's tight. It's about to where it was. So, all right. Well, thanks for watching. Later. There she is. 24, or that's an 1 1/4 socket that I need for that castle nut. So if you work on one of these old vehicles and you got to do the bearings, make sure you got this for that castle nut so you can get that cotter pin lined up and you get your preload. This vehicle here actually didn't have much preload. Not really a shameless plug, but if you ever want to do your front wheel drive bearing stuff, or any bearing stuff, this is what I use to help press in my bearing races. This and this for my brake calipers. But these are super handy, and it's a Harbor Freight item, or you can buy them on Amazon or one of these other places where you can order stuff. Vivor, whatever, they're starting to sell a lot of this stuff too at an even lower price than Amazon or Harbor Freight. But the thing is, you know, these are pretty quality tools. If you're a professional, you probably want to go to the real quality, like Snap-on, some of those places like that, Blue Point. I don't know Blue Point, but Snap-on, Mac Tools, or some of that. But for the DIY person, if you know what you're doing is going to be safe, and use your own judgment, you know, situational awareness is very important when you work on vehicles, especially if you're underneath them. So I just wanted to add this into this. Thanks for watching this. Alrighty, here's the finished product. And I did put new shoes on there. I don't know if you can see that well in there, but yeah, painted the wheel. Looks a lot better. Doesn't look as bad as that other one there. And I went ahead and did both sides. Now I had to use a brake caliper piston press tool to press everything out, so the brake, and I of course brake fluid went everywhere, but anyways, that's part of the mess. I cleaned it up. I had to wash off the engine, but yeah, new brake shoes all around. You can't tell on this, that's the caliper itself. But yeah, there's brake shoes, brand new, finally. And I repaint this wheel too, so that looks good. Like I said, that's what it looks like before I painted, and that's after paint. Hope to get to see y'all again someday real soon. Later.